the Mama Lombardo Show. I'm Gary.
And I'm Mama Lombardo.
And we got two special guests today. We're really excited to have Susan here along with her husband Tracey. And they're going to be sharing with us a really special recipe today. Susan's somebody I work with at Demandware.
That's right. And Tracey's my husband of 27 years, and he makes the most fabulous pizza I've ever had.
Every Friday night.
Every Friday night.
Every Friday night. So what's this pizza actually called? Tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, it's Tracey's Pizza. And like I said, like we've said, probably 15 years. Every week I've been making this pizza. I think Susan and our kids gave me a pizza stone and a pizza peel and a pizza cookbook maybe 15 years ago.
That's it. Wow.
So I've adapted the recipe. It's pretty much the same recipe I've been using all this time, and it's pretty nice pizza. It's
and it's easy to do.
yeah, but I say it's an artisan pizza. You know, you go to the pizza store parlor and you got a nice round pizza that's kind of uniform. This is not that uniform.
So we'll call it Pizza Artisana.
Right? But the ingredients are very simple, but it lets you, I think it lets you taste the bread and the crust. You know, you're not sure what pizza really is, but I think it's about the bread and the crust. And there's even some people think about, well, where did pizza come from? You know, and you think of pizza's Italian, right?
Yeah.
But you know, you think about it, the tomatoes didn't show up in Italy until Christopher Columbus brought them back from the New World.
Yep.
And then you got the Greeks that think they made pizza, you know. And
I know.
If you go to Naples, supposedly,
right,
that's where pizza originated from. I actually had a slice of pizza from the place, the shop where supposedly pizza came from. Yeah.
Wow.
But to me, the interesting story, I don't even know if it's the right thing, but the idea was, it was a way of sampling the bread, right? You had a big central town kitchen oven, right? And you made the dough. You had to see whether the dough was good and was going to make good bread. So you kind of stretched it out into a little, you know, thing, and you cooked it, right? And you get a quick feedback is that things are right. So you're going to do this, well, you might as well make it interesting, right? It's just a piece of bread. So you put stuff on it. But my feeling, you don't want to overload it with too much sauce and too much cheese.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
really
taste the
don't
stuff.
like a lot either. I just put a little bit of sauce.
So that's what it is.
So you just put sauce and onion.
Yeah.
Right, and the dough is made just with flour, yeast, water, and salt. Right?
Simple.
That's
And,
So we're going to kick it off by making some dough,
Yep.
right? So dough will be the
Make
first
the dough.
thing.
Okay.
So we'll walk through, we'll make some dough, and then we'll actually prepare the pizza,
right,
right?
right,
And then bake it,
Right.
and then we're going to, of course, eat it.
right.
So I feel like I can eat it because I earned it today. I did a race today, so of course, you can see on my shirt, Black Fly Try. Yes, I like to eat. You guys see me eating all these, the ricotta pie. The last few episodes have been heavy on the fried and fat.
Wow.
It's been great though. But I do work it off, so I'll work off this pizza today as well, and we're going to enjoy it.
All right, so we're getting ready to make the dough, and we got our ingredients laid out. And again, the ingredients are real simple and classic. We're going to take 3 cups of flour. We're going to take some olive oil, a little bit of salt, and we're going to mix up some yeast, and we're going to mix it in this bowl, get it kneaded for a couple minutes, and we're going to put it in this bowl. We're going to fill this bowl with warm water and make it a nice warm place for the dough to rise. And we're going to let it rise, and then we'll have dough to make. And we're going to make 2 pizzas out of it. Okay?
Great, great.
So,
okay,
so first thing we do is we're going to get a cup of water, hot to like 110, 115 degrees, and then we'll put some yeast and some sugar in it and get that frothing up while we mix.
Right.
All right, so we got a cup of water, kind of a nice temperature for the yeast. So we mix in a little bit of sugar.
Tablespoon?
Yeah, like a tablespoon of sugar. And we got about tablespoon of yeast.
Wonderful.
And we stir it up.
Mm-hmm.
And theoretically, you're supposed to sort of see that the yeast proofs, you know, makes
Yes,
bubbles.
yeah.
But
That's okay. Yeah.
but nobody has bad yeast anymore. It's
No.
pretty
Do you
standard.
have to put the salt and all?
So now what we do, we put this 3 cups of flour.
Okay.
We put it in our mixing bowl.
Great.
And then we're very careful about how we measure out the salt. We have to this just has to be just right, you know?
Okay.
Right? So that was just right.
That's
Took me 15 years to learn what the right amount was. And we stir that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we take a 1/4 cup of olive oil.
Right.
You know, and we pour that in there.
Okay.
And stir it up again. And here you can see it's bubbling.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's getting there. Yeah.
It's proofed. So we pour that in. Right? So now we can make our dough. We mix this with the flat hook, the flat paddle, until it just kind of cleans up the sides of the bowl.
Yeah.
And you know, I make this in different seasons, and the dough, sometimes the flour has more moisture in it or less, so
Exactly,
sometimes you have to adjust it. But it looks pretty good. You know, you can check it. You know, it
looks good. Looks
it
nice.
adheres to itself,
Mm-hmm.
but you still want it a little shaggy, right? So we'll drop it down. We'll get the dough hook on it. Sort of, it's fascinating how the dough hook works. You know, that it kind of simulates your kneading and pushing and what, and it just kind of goes on for maybe 5 minutes.
Oh,
There's some magical idea about when has it been kneaded enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but if you wait 5 minutes, it's done. All right, so we got the dough in here, and it's being kneaded with the dough hook. And when that's done, we're going to want to let the dough rise, in a nice warm place.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out that one way to do that is to take a big ceramic bowl like this and fill it with hot water.
Yeah.
And that makes it makes it warm.
Right.
And then, you empty the hot water out, and you dry it, and then you pour in just a little bit of olive oil, and kind of pour it around, and then you put your dough in there, and you kind of flip it over a couple times so it's covered with olive oil, just gently, and then you cover it with saran wrap, and you just let this sit for 2 hours, and then it rises. So we filled this with hot water. This is where we're going to let the dough rise. So we're going to empty this out. And you said before, you feel that it's nice and warm, right? It's a little hot, actually. So,
Very good.
so we're going to, we just dry it out. It's already got enough moisture in it. I'll put a little olive oil in here.
Yeah.
And,
That's good.
now that the bowl is warm, that kind of that lightens up the olive oil, and you spread it around so it kind of coats the bottom. You can really see the warmth of the bowl has made the olive oil
Liquid. Yeah.
more liquid. So you kind of get this into a ball. You don't need to squeeze
You don't.
it.
You don't separate them.
No, you don't separate it.
You
let them stay together and be friendly.
Okay.
All right? You gotta make one ball here. So you put it in there.
Yeah.
You flip it around a couple times so it's
Right.
sort of evenly coated with olive oil.
Yeah.
And then you get you get the saran wrap. We're gonna cover it up so that we keep the warmth in there, and also the sort of the damp moisture.
Right.
We don't want the dough to dry out. Then you find a nice warm, quiet place in the kitchen where you can let this rise. And since we've got the oven, is preheating with the stone in there, you can put it over the oven like I think you said. That's a nice place for it.
Right here.
All right. So now we've got some dough that's risen, and we're going to talk about all the ingredients that actually go on to the pizza itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had our dough rising in a nice warm bowl, and here you can see it's kind of puffed up, and we're going to gently punch it down, and we're going to separate it into two pieces,
Yeah.
and then we're going to spread one out on this, and then we're going to put our ingredients on.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get this nice, fresh, simple mozzarella, and we cut it in half, and we dice it. We're going to sprinkle it on there. And then this is the sauce I've used. This is classical tomato and basil. I think it's really nice. It probably has a little bit of sugar in it, but it's nice. We spoon a little bit of that on, and we get some onion. And what I do is I microwave the onion, diced up onion, for maybe 6 minutes, so it's partially cooked.
Okay.
Because otherwise we won't have enough time.
Do you dice it, or you?
Yeah, I dice it.
Oh, you do.
And when we put cornmeal onto the pizza peel, so that when we put the pizza
on there,
it will stick, and it will slide it into the oven.
Great.
Cut up an onion. You cut it in half,
Yeah.
so the root end is here, and then you're going to cut through like this. Right? So it's all hold. The point is you want to get it all holding together. So then you cut it across like this, and then you're going to cut across like this. So you got nice diced pieces, and have it falling all over the place.
My mother used to put onions on her pizza. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Onions and tomato, a little bit of tomato. That was it.
And I think
Not too much cheese. They didn't put too much cheese.
so. Now we just microwave this. Gotta put on a little microwave.
When do I punch this down?
Hey, so why don't you punch it?
But
Why don't you
I
punch
want to.
it? Come on, just kind of hit your hand
All
right down on
Here I
that.
go.
Just come on, punch.
Punch.
There you go. See?
Oh, how nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's real dough.
Oh. All right. You don't work it at all, do you?
No.
Just separate it?
Well, we just you kind of get it gathered,
Yeah.
and then you kind of gently separate it into what
think-
feels like two halves. And one of them's always bigger than the other.
I was going to
you know,
say,
it's
I
never
think I made
perfect.
this one big.
Yeah, well.
That's all right.
Usually, I make the biggest pizza first,
Yeah.
because you're hungry, and then you're eating the pizza while the other one is
What do you think? You think
cooking.
I did it right, or
I think you did it right.
perfect?
Perfect.
Did I do a perfect
Perfect.
job?
Whatever way you did it, it was perfect.
Okay.
So now why don't you microwave
all right,
this?
I'll microwave it for
6
6
minutes.
minutes. Okay.
Well, we're cutting up the mozzarella cheese into kind of, reasonable
Pieces, yeah.
pieces. Not too small. Right. Just kind of the right size.
All right. Yummy.
So that's one piece. So we're going to
Your
dust
board?
the. Well, I'll show you what I do here.
Yeah.
We just kind of
Okay.
spread one of these out. And they show you in the movies about do this. I've never been able to get that to really work. But if you just kind of do this a little bit, it kind of hangs down. And you put it here. And it's sort of a question of feel. Theoretically, there's a little ridge at the edge, right?
Right.
And but that's not the whole story. It's because we're going to put topping in the middle and not topping on the edge. And when it's cooked, so then the edge will rise up a little more.
Right.
So that's the dough. And that's ready to make a pizza. So now what we do, we get our pizza peel, and we just sprinkle some cornmeal on it, like this. And that's just the right amount.
Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? No. I guess not.
So now,
There you go.
okay. Now the way I do it, I put the cheese on first. And just kind of spread it around. And now we're going to put some sauce on it.
You need a spoon?
One more spoon.
Yeah.
Just a spoon. And you put it around the edge, and you leave it away from the edge. And you know, you don't want it. You know, you want some of the dough showing through. You don't want it all covered up with sauce.
No.
Because this pizza is really about giving the dough a chance to be pizza bread. You know, and that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to taste. So this way.
There's seasoning already in that, so
Yeah.
you don't have to put anything on there, huh?
Yeah. So it's nominally tomato and basil.
Yeah.
It's got some other stuff, but I think over time we've sort of settled on this as
That
a
one.
good brand. So that's kind of the right amount of sauce. This is, you know, just supposed to give a hint of flavor.
Yeah. If some people don't like the onion, you don't put it, right?
Yeah. Well, if they don't like the onion,
Then
they don't eat Tracy's
they're not-
pizza. You know what I mean? But you're right. You're right. Of course, the customer is always right. All right. So let's talk about how we're going to bake the pizza. So the really important part of the story is we got a pizza stone, right? You can see in there it's kind of dark. It's been used. It's an important part of this. So it's in there. And it's cooking. It's been, we use a 500-degree oven, and we preheat it for an hour, at least, so that the stone is really nice and hot. And we're going to put the pizza, we're going to make the pizza and put it on this peel. You can see the peel's been made a lot of pizzas. And we put cornmeal, little cornmeal marbles on, and then after the pizza's crust is here, we can slide it in and slide it out, and it's on the pizza stone. And it cooks for about 11 minutes, right? And we take it out, and then we're going to put olive oil on the edge of the crust.
And you
it's
still
just
leave it
good.
at 500.
500, because we're going to put the second. We're going to put the second.
Okay.
You know, we leave it at 500, and you know, the pizza crust isn't burnt, but it has a real distinctive edge. It's just delicious. All right, so we got our oven here, nice and hot. We got our pizza peel, and we do this. There you go.
Wow.
See how I close the oven door? It's ready. Let's take a look. Well,
See,
we ought to keep it going a couple. You can see the crust
yeah,
isn't quite brown on the edges,
exactly.
so we're going to keep it going another 3 minutes. So we gave it another 3 minutes. Let's see how it looks. Well, we're
That's
gonna.
better.
That's better. So,
Yeah.
And we're going to cook a second pizza. So here we go.
Yeah.
We got this out. Now, crash. We got this as part of the. This is where I have some fun. You know, we put it in there, and one of the things, it's got this cornmeal on the bottom. So we don't want to eat pizza with cornmeal on it. So what we do is we just shake it right over the sink, and that's scraping the cornmeal off the bottom. But we can see that the mozzarella is kind of soupy, right? So it's not really ready to eat yet. We're not surprised at that. But wow, we do another thing here that helps make it really tasty. I think this is part of what makes it delicious. We take some olive oil. And I don't use a pastry brush, I just use a paint brush. And we put olive oil right on this crust, right on this open crust. And that's going to soak in there. And then for some people, they don't eat the crust. But again, I tell you, I think the crust is the best part.
Yes.
So, that's going to be our pizza. And we're going to let that cool. Right? All right, so we got the pizza, we've cooked it. We brushed the edge with olive oil. We're going to cool off a little bit. We're going to slice it, and now we're going to, and then we get to eat it. That's
Okay, cut it on here.
Cut it on here.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes it might go.
Yes, Mama. Sometimes the edge, one of these edges, they pop up like little balloons, little air bubbles, and that's sort of the kids kind of struggle for. Well, who gets the bubble? And then I have to decide whether I'm going to cut through the bubble or make sure that each piece contains a bubble. So we don't have any bubbles on this one. So there's a pizza. It's a cross between a thick crust and a thin crust. That's it.
Great.
Tracy, this pizza looks great.
It does.
You did a great job.
Wait until you taste it.
can't wait. Let's try right now.
All right.
Everyone grab a
It
piece.
really, really looks so great. Oh, I can't wait.
Let's give it a try.
Okay.
That's awesome. Good job.
Thanks.
I'm gonna
Pizza
try this.
Artisana.
I am.
You gonna try it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll let you know
Yeah.
how it is. So, thanks for Tracy for joining us today, and for Susan for coming over.
And Mama.
And thank you, Mama,
All right.
Thank you.
for having
I
us in your
enjoyed it
kitchen.
very
Cheers.
much.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Salud.
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 I enjoy the pizza.
Absolutely, and we welcome guests on the Cooking with Mama Lombardo show. You guys are all welcome to come on, just like these guys did. You have an
yeah.
original Italian recipe, something that you enjoy to cook and would like to share with us, come on the show. And we want to thank you again. And oh, we didn't try the cheese. Let's try this. This is the
I did already.
L'Olivio
I like it.
cheese, right? The pecorino.
Lovino pecorino. So sheep's milk pecorino.
So how is it, Mama? Try it.
I did. I had it. You had it. No, you did.
Very good. Classic pecorino romano, or pecorino cheese. Very good. Thanks for bringing that, Tracy, and
You're
thanks
welcome.
again for you guys for joining today. And be sure to check us out on the blog at www.mamalombardo.com. And tune in next time for we're gonna have a really great summertime recipe for you coming up next, and we're gonna see if we can prepare it perhaps even outdoors, huh?
I guess so.
She's all aboard with that.
Hooray.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.